Tonight on Grady Newsource.
A 19-year-old man found dead this morning near downtown Athens. What police told us about their investigation.
A University of South Carolina student is dead after getting into a car that she thought was her Uber. Coming up, I'll tell you how you and your driver can make your ride-sharing experience safer.
Plus, wish you were beer? In just a few minutes, Grady Newsource takes you to the start of Classic City Brew Fest.
This is Northeast Georgia's only local source for TV news. From the Grady College at the University of Georgia, this is Grady Newsource.
Good evening and welcome to Grady Newsource. I'm Veronica Obey.
And I'm Luke Gamble.
Our top story tonight. An Athens man has been charged with murder in connection with the shooting death of another man on Hickman Drive near downtown. Grady Newsource reporter Majesty Bass is live at the scene of the crime to tell us what she's learned about the investigation. Majesty?
I'm here near the crime scene where the shooting happened this morning. Residents directed me to the back of the apartments, and there's still some police crime scene tape from the happenings. Residents told me they heard gunshots this morning along with ambulance sirens. However, no one was comfortable saying this on camera. I spoke with Jeff Gillen, the public information officer for Athens Clark County Police.
Shots fired call in the area of Hickman Drive, commonly known in the area as Bethel Homes.
The victim was 19 years old. Police identified him as Jamel Brightwell from Bogart. Just before noon, police booked a suspect for murder, Marquavius Knox, an Athens man in his late 20s. I asked Gilland about the number of homicides in Athens Clark County so far this year.
Since January 1st, 2019, this will be our fourth homicide.
In all of 2018, there were 7 homicides reported for Athens Clark County. No one here knew the suspect or the victim. For Grady Newsource, I'm Majesty Bass.
A University of South Carolina student is dead after getting into a car that she thought was her Uber. Samantha Josephson's body was found 90 miles away from Columbia, where she originally called the car. Grady Newsource reporter Sarah Hammond tells us how you and your driver can make your ride-sharing experience safer.
And Lyft has become almost second nature for a lot of people. It's just so easy. But Jacqueline Koneski says that after hearing about the USC student who got into the wrong car, she's going to change the way she uses the ride-sharing apps.
I've tried to get more in the habit of saying, like, who are you here for? Versus usually I go up to the window, I'm like, oh, are you here for Jacqueline? And just kind of get in, especially with what's been going on.
Bobby Cullors has been driving for Uber and Lyft for 3.5 years, and he says he still has people getting into his car without verifying any of his information.
Well, you got some that don't ask who the driver is or anything.
One safety tip for passengers, check the license tag and make sure it matches the car sent your way. Another safety tip, make sure the driver's face matches the face on the app.
Look at the tag. Check and see if that's the right person that's supposed to be picking you up. If the face don't match, don't get in that car. Don't do it.
Now, to add an extra level of safety to your Uber ride, they have this feature that I'm using right now that lets your friends and family track your ride to make sure you get where you're going safely. Koneski says what happened to the USC student could have happened to anyone.
That could have been me, that could have been my roommates, just because we all just kind of get in an Uber and assume it's an Uber.
So next time you call a car through either one of these apps, take the extra time to double check the driver and car. It could save your life. For Grady Newsource, I'm Sarah Hammond.
If you want a friend or loved one to track your Uber, go into the Uber app and in Settings, click Manage Trusted Contacts. From there, you can choose the person that you want to track you.
Drivers in Watkinsville may be in for a surprise the next time they get a traffic ticket. Grady Newsource reporter Danny Terzer spoke with local officials and residents about the new hike in traffic fines.
The City of Watkinsville's municipal court system proposed the revised fines for traffic offenses. City Council approved, and those new fines went into effect today. Fines for some traffic violations will increase by 50%.
It needed to be updated.
William Horton with the Watkinsville Police Department told me the hike was long overdue. The previous fines hadn't been updated since 2010. Their mission, he says, is the same.
Traffic enforcement, traffic education, being diligent, doing your job, and doing it consistently every day.
I looked into the numbers. Now, the fines are more in line with neighboring communities. Kirsten Bradford, a business owner, is on board with the change.
I see every morning when I drive in, even if I'm driving the speed limit or more than the speed limit, I have people that are flying past me, and it's just not safe.
I'm here at a main street in Watkinsville, and as you can see behind me, there's cars constantly going by. They could all be potentially affected by the increase in speeding ticket fines. The fine schedule includes many traffic violations beyond just speeding. Horton does expect to see an effect from rising fines.
Anytime that there's a monetary value, a monetary issue attached to something, I think altogether it'll have an impact as a whole.
And if you're wondering how that money will be spent, the extra money will help pay for new police equipment. Danny Terzer, Grady Newsource.
Be sure to check your speed and your speed limits when you're on the road, and above all, drive safely.
Today it's been nice and sunny, but what hasn't been nice is the amount of pollen in the air. Reporter Madison Lupo is outside our studio with the latest on the pollen count.
We've been tracking the high pollen counts throughout the entire month of March, and to kick off the start of April, we're seeing the highest pollen count we've seen all season. On a scale from 0 to 12, pollen.com ranks today at an 11.8. From our cars to our clothes, the pollen is everywhere. Look at this video from the Wildlife Resources Division at the Georgia Department of Natural Resources. You can see the massive clouds of pollen accumulating as a helicopter flies overhead. Although we're going to continue to see high pollen counts throughout the rest of the week, we can catch a glimpse of relief as we move into our weekend. I'll be back in about 15 minutes with more details and your full weather forecast. Back to you guys in the studio.
Thank you, Madison. What better way to celebrate this spring weather than to go to the Classic City Brew Fest that's kicking off as we speak? Brew Source reporter Donovan Harris is at the South Bar and Kitchen in downtown Athens right now. Donovan, what's going on down there?
Veronica, I'm here at South Kitchen and Bar in downtown Athens, which is one of two restaurants that's kicking off the Classic City Brew Fest this week. The other is Rook and Pung, which is a few blocks down the road here. Now, the Classic City Brew Fest is in its 24th year, and as you may know, Athens has a booming craft beer industry. There's Terrapin, Southern Beer Company, and Creature Comforts Beer here. Now, there's not a lot going on behind me right now. The officials of this event told me that the crowds really won't be pouring in until about 6 or 6:30, but I have right here two people. I have Tori right here from Wild Leap Brew, and Jesus here, who is one of the managers here at South Kitchen. Now, what can people expect today at South Kitchen?
So I'm from Wild Leap out of LaGrange, Georgia. We're a brewery that's opened about a year and a half ago, and we're just hanging out tonight. Jesus and all the people at South had us in to just talk about our beer, geek out over some craft beer, give out glasses, koozies, and just hang out tonight. So it'll be fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, Wild Leap's here. We're going to feature a few of their awesome beers. We're actually going to be doing an event today with them, and then another event on Thursday with D&I Brewing out of North Carolina. Athens Beer Fest is awesome because we get to celebrate craft beer pretty much all week, and it culminates till Sunday.
All right, they're telling me to wrap, but thank you all so much. If you're coming out tonight, make sure to drink responsibly. Reporting live from downtown, Donovan Harris, Grady Newsource.
It's a crime we all need to know about.
The idea is to be aware of what children may be experiencing, and don't be afraid to ask.
Hi, I'm Peter. There's nothing I love more than sharing vegetables with my friends. Come on in, help yourself to anything. That's why we give our food the utmost respect it deserves. Did you know there are simple steps we can all take to help save food? You can cook it, store it, even share it. Just don't waste it. Because when it comes to food, better ate than never. To learn more, visit SaveTheFood.com.
You think getting dumped by text is harsh? Try getting dumped by a tennis ball. My ex-owner drove me out to the woods, yelled fetch, and by the time I brought the ball back, he was gone. Yeah, I was pissed. But the folks at the shelter helped me let go of my anger. I learned coping skills, like taking it to the hole. Boom! Now I'm ready to fetch again. But how about I throw and you run and get it?
Attention travelers, next Tuesday a major power outage will cause complete chaos throughout the city. Food, water, and phone service will be in short supply. There will likely be panic citywide. Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
An expert in UGA's School of Social Work says there were 615 investigations into cases of child abuse and neglect in Athens-Clarke County in 2018. I attended an event meant to draw attention to vulnerable children during Child Abuse Awareness Month. The UGA School of Social Work has a goal for April to educate people on child abuse. The school started today with a kickoff event in partnership with Bright Paths for Child Abuse Awareness Month. Dr. Allison Dunigan coordinates the Title IV-E program at UGA, which prepares students for professional child welfare practice. She says child abuse occurs every day in Athens.
Child abuse and neglect is an issue across the entire country, and in Athens and Clarke County, I think it's an issue here just like it is everywhere else.
The National Children's Alliance says nearly 700,000 children are abused in the United States every year, and on average, more than 4 children die every day in the U.S. from child abuse and neglect. David Kelly, a professional in the Title IV-E program at UGA, said training people to recognize the signs of child abuse is vitally important.
The idea is to be aware of what children may be experiencing, and don't be afraid to ask.
UGA's School of Social Work planted 615 pinwheels in their courtyard to represent every case of child abuse investigated in Athens-Clarke County in 2018. David Kelly said the pinwheel represents the childhood that we want all children to have. He said we're trying to celebrate what childhood could and should be. Dr. Dunigan said her goal in bringing awareness to child abuse is multi-pronged, but identifying the issues first is important.
To engage the community so that we can identify where the gaps are and what we can be doing here at UGA and within our partner agencies.
The best way to report child neglect or abuse is to call the confidential statewide line. You should call 911 if a child is in imminent danger. Go to our website, GradyNewsource.com, for more information and resources on child abuse prevention.
I'm Christina Evans. Ahead in sports, I'll tell you how local teams fared this weekend. Plus, you'll meet a local man who studied martial arts for 30 years and brings that passion to his job keeping Athens clean.
Thank you. Did you see anyone's problems? Thanks for helping us. Is this okay? You're welcome.
We do anything for kids. Yet 1 in 6 children in the U.S. struggle with hunger. Help end childhood hunger near you. Learn how at feedingamerica.org.
Start a story. Adopt at theshelterpetproject.org.
we get strawberries?
Okay.
And now, sports.
I'm Christina Evans with your sports. It was a successful weekend on the diamond for Georgia's baseball and softball teams. The fourth-ranked UGA baseball team clinched yet another SEC road series by winning 2 out of the 3 games against the University of Kentucky. The Dogs won the series-clinching matchup in extra innings, 10-8, and the highlight of the afternoon was a first-inning grand slam by redshirt freshman Connor Tate. More than 40,000 fans will pack into SunTrust Park for the sold-out Braves home opener tonight. The team dropped their first 3 games to Philadelphia over the weekend, but now they're back at home and hosting the Chicago Cubs. The Braves posted a solid home record of 43-38 last season and are hoping to use the home field advantage to grab the first wins of the 2019 season. SunTrust Park will have a few new restaurants for fans to try out. So if you're headed to the game, make sure you get there early to try out some of the new eats. The #1 ranked University of Georgia's women's tennis team swept the state of Alabama over the weekend. The team won matches against the University of Alabama and Auburn University by a combined score of 8-0. These wins pushed UGA's record to 17-0. This 17-match win streak is the longest for the Lady Dogs since 2002. Georgia maintains their top ranking going into the home stretch of the season. The Lady Dogs will take on the Universities of Arkansas and Missouri this weekend. The Georgia Tech rivalry was reignited on the World Golf Championships Tour. UGA alum Kevin Kisner defeated Georgia Tech graduate Matt Kuchar on Sunday to win the WGC Dell Technologies Match Play Final. Kisner became the first golfer to win the match play after losing in the championship the previous year. The winning purse for this year's tournament was over $1.7 million. You don't generally think of using martial arts to keep Athens clean, but a local man is doing just that. Reporter Georgia Chambers introduces us to a sanitation worker who gets a kick out of his work.
It is a common sight to see Phil Mosley doing the splits and dancing while working.
Don't blend and just watch 24-karat magic.
Mosley works in the streets of downtown Athens from 1:30 in the afternoon to 10 at night, Monday through Friday. He began incorporating dance into his work routine when he started working downtown routes.
I don't know, I just like doing what I do. It's like, working out, that's my passion.
Mosley says that 30 years of martial arts practice keeps him limber.
So I be ready to do what I like doing, martial arts and dance.
He wants to do his job well, but more importantly, he wants to set his image apart from his job title.
What started it was by people looking at my appearance. They look at me as a trash man, and they look at my hair, and they stereotype me. Like, they think because I do this type of work that I should not look this way.
Mosley is a trash collector, but he's much more. He takes pride in his job and his look, this icy watch, the neat hairstyle, and of course, these moves.
You should look at me as a person, not by my appearance.
Some of you may have seen Mosley in action. He's even shown up in quite a few Snapchat stories. Mosley's interaction with people shows that people see him as more than just someone who helps keep Athens clean.
It is the start of the week and sunny days are ahead until this weekend. I'm Madison Lupo with your Grady Newsource weather. I'm going to be talking about those chances for precipitation, a look at our pollen count, and our 5-day forecast coming up.
Are your children in the right car seat for their age and size? Is the seat supposed to be forward-facing or rear-facing? Did they move to a booster seat too soon? It may be too late to check when you're on the road. Fortunately, you're on the couch. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Don't think you know. Know you know.
I'm a single mother, and I was the main one working, so I never thought that I could go back to school, you know? My sister, my mother, everybody wanted to help me with my kids. I could not have gotten my diploma without my family.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
It's a beautiful day out here, sunny today with light breezes, giving way to clouds in the afternoon. We could see some light precipitation to moderate precipitation later on, followed by powerful storm-like conditions. 90-mile-per-hour winds are expected. Authorities are asking everyone, stay indoors. Come on, that's it, let's go.
And now, the weather.
Happy Monday, Northeast Georgia. I'm Madison Lupo with your Grady Newsource weather. Today I'm going to be talking about a couple chances of precipitation this week, a quick look at our pollen count, and wrapping today up with our 5-day forecast. Looking at our temperatures this evening, 6 p.m. 57 degrees, 9 p.m. 50 degrees, and midnight cooling off to 45 degrees. Low tonight is 38, so by midnight we're still a little warmer than that low. Looking into the temperatures for tomorrow, starting off 9 a.m. a little chilly at 41 degrees, noon 51 degrees, and warming up to 57 degrees at 3 p.m. Taking a quick look at the pollen count, it's been strong recently in Northeast Georgia. Today on a scale of 0 to 12, according to pollen.com, we are at 11.8. Still reaching those high pollen counts into the week, but by Friday, 6.8, we're seeing a bit of relief from the pollen. Wrapping it up with our 5-day forecast, as you can see, it's a very nice and clear week until Friday with a 70% chance of showers. I'm Madison Lupo with your Grady Newsource weather.
Why this Athens structure is dividing a community.
What to expect when you're expecting
Like here.
a teenager.
Today, I'm going to show you how to team-proof your home. First step, hide the car keys, preferably somewhere they would never look. Challenges will come up. Be ready for them. Hi, honey.
I'm ready for the... Mom, you don't use mannequins in the mannequin challenge.
You don't have to know it all to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Wait. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
Did you know parking over tall, dry grass can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Some Athens residents are fighting for the preservation of an old railroad trestle. It stands in the middle of two adjoining sections of a bike trail. Reporter Kristen Rary tells us Athens-Clarke County wants to connect the trails with a new bridge.
Like, what would happen to it? Would it just deteriorate? Will the county still maintain it?
Athens-Clarke County is bridging the gap in the Rails to Trails project, literally.
And so we've got these two sections of trails that exist today, but we've got the 500-foot gap.
But it's the trestle that stands in that 500-foot gap that inspired residents to come out Tuesday night.
And it's just an iconic structure.
Advocates claim the structure is important to Athens' cultural history.
And it allowed businesses to have manufacturing facilities downtown.
It's the iconic image of, that relates to the band that basically started independent music.
The contracting company in charge knows its cultural value.
We know that there's a lot of history associated with that in the way that it was featured on the Murmur album before.
Advocate Paul Bouchard has been involved in saving the trestle since 2002.
I was the person who initiated the initial letter writing campaign to the mayor of Athens that saved the trestle.
He says the trestle is important to Athens tourism as well.
I do music history tours, so I'm always, when people come to town, they want to see the trestle.
Now, the main problem out here on the trails is the sheer size of the structure. It's about 500 feet across and 75 feet tall. Now, for reference, that's about 13 me's stacked. And that's a lot of wood to reinforce if the advocates get their way. But Athens-Clarke County says no matter what, something will be going in this space. Project manager Derek Durr says the project's main goal is to connect the existing trails.
It's just really replacing the point A to point B connectivity that was lost over time.
But advocates hope for a balance.
Because I felt it was a historical resource of Athens that should be preserved.
For Grady Newsource, I'm Kristen Rary.
Thank you for tuning in to Grady Newsource. I'm Veronica Obey.
And I'm Luke Gamble. Good night.
Production of the Grady College of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of Georgia, which is solely responsible for its contents. Views expressed do not represent those of the administration nor the Board of Regents at the University System of Georgia.
There's a lot of fear in coming back to school. I'm a 40-year-old man that walked in there to get his high school diploma. It was very hard for me, but one of the teachers was Miss Araceli. She gave me direction. Every single time I had a question, she'll put down whatever she's doing and she'll sit there with you until you get it. 50% of getting your high school diploma is walking through those doors. The other 50% is doing the work.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Is your family in need of more quality time together?
Hello, I'm Dr. Spruce. Nature is best enjoyed together. So bring the whole family to discover all the bonding and stress-reducing benefits parks and forests have to offer. Visit discovertheforest.org and trade in phone time for family time.
Birds, squirrels, chipmunks, grass, worms, bugs, trees, rocks, and other objects in nature cannot talk. If you'd like to have a conversation while visiting nature, you will need to bring humans. I strongly recommend starting with your family.
Na 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 na, I love you so. I love you, I love you. La 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 la, la 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 la.
We're here.
Yay!
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. To find a neighborhood park or green space near you, visit discovertheforest.org.
Welcome to the Monday version of Newsource's Post Show. My name is Sarah Bertolini. I was the senior production manager today. I think I'm a little off my game just in general because I think, like Sam mentioned right before we went live, we have 5 total people currently in the classroom. 6. I think today was very interesting because a lot of people had a lot of shifts going on all the time, a lot of moving parts. So that was really interesting. I think everyone handled it pretty well considering how many hats you guys all had to wear today. But I'll get into some details in a little bit. Sam Daniel is our director for today. You hadn't directed in a few months, 3 months, somewhere in there. I don't know. He hasn't directed in a while. He was begging me pretty much every single week to direct. We finally got through enough of our new managers, getting them all up to speed on how to direct, that we're going to hopefully start cycling through some of our older, more esteemed managers, hopefully in the next couple of weeks here. So if you had anything to say.
Okay, so the last time I directed was your first show of the semester, which is hard to believe it's been that long. You guys have improved so much since then. Like, you guys are killing it. Sydney, great show. Anchor's great job. The only thing I have to say is with VOs, when we say enough time, I don't mean like I just want enough time to where it's going to cut when the anchor's done talking. I want like 1.5 minutes of extra VO footage if that's possible. With the pictures, you could have left that last one up for a long time because it cut before we were ready to come back to anchors. And you guys have the little marker of when you're supposed to be back on screen, so if it cuts before then, I don't know what you guys are doing. Hopefully you're not doing anything bad, but you never know. So I can always take footage when I'm supposed to if it's too long, but if it's too short, I cannot do anything about that. But other than that, really good job.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Just make your VOs way longer than what you think they should be. We can work with that. Longer's way better in our book than shorter. Cool. Otherwise, going down the list today, weather was great. Maddie, you came in, and I think we rocked it like in 30 minutes. I think almost every single one was a single take, which was awesome. That allowed me to kind of try to at least help with that Skype call that, looking back now, was ages ago. But we tried to figure out doing a Skype call with Sarah. Ultimately, we ended up doing it a different way, but because we didn't have pre-recording going on almost at the same time as I was trying to figure out what y'all wanted, that worked out really well. So I was able to kind of just remove myself from the control room for a couple minutes there. And we all learned how to do it now, or sort of. Or at least I know how to do it. So if we want to do anything like that, we can totally do that. Sports was pretty late today. I think we started at like 1:30, not 1. We were waiting on the reporter. We were waiting on graphics. We were waiting on scripts. So that's just something to keep in mind, that we do have start times for a reason, just because we're trying to get, the next people in. So just keep that in mind if you're dropping graphics and stuff, that everything should be in by your start time, not like while your start time's going on. Cool. And make sure that you have graphics for all your stories so we don't have to put awkward stingers in, because it kind of works sometimes, but sometimes I'm afraid we're going to get a story where we're not going to be able to put it in and it's going to look weird. We want to make y'all look good. We don't want to put random graphics in the background. They don't really make sense just to have a graphic in the background. Otherwise, for Sam, I'm sorry. That's like my biggest pet peeve is everyone stares at the tech person, and I was like, I should just talk through that, and then I did not talk through that. Sam took a VO a second time. Again, that's just making sure your VO's cut a little bit longer than what you would think. We can cut it. We can come out of it as early as we want. It's just when it's short, it's hard to work with. And then we also picked up on that the lower third for the sports tees stayed up through the garbage man segment, which obviously did not make any sense. Our standard protocol for editors is to just leave up the lower third the whole time, but obviously in that case, did not make sense because we lost the sports reporter and then we went into that. It's like, that's still not Christina. If she could kick her leg that high, I would be like, wow, teach me. I would love to learn. But we'll definitely keep that in mind, and I'll let our editor know that there's some nuances to editing. Cool? Yeah? This class is still really small. It's kind of freaking me out. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Overall, I think that that it was a really great show, and I think we had a lot of awesome content in our show today, and I think a lot of that comes with good pitches, which I feel like we had a lot to work with today, and a lot of really important stories to cover today. First, shout out to Kristen Rary and Georgia, who produced, I guess not produced, they did packages today. They're not in our class, but they still did packages for other things in Grady, and we thought they were great, and we needed to fill some time. We used their packages, and they were awesome. So thank you to Kristen and Georgia. Special shout out to our live shots today, because we had 3 live shots, and I think that they all looked really, really good. Whoa! Sorry, my mic just fell. Donovan, you're king of the live shots. Like, you just are so good live, and especially with the live interviews, like, I feel like that can be really hard. They looked great.
I'm sorry about not rapping. He was kind of talkative.
Yeah, no, I know. I've never done a live interview. I bet it's really hard to rap someone who keeps talking, and you don't know how to make them stop. But you did a great job. And Majesty, you led the show, and I thought that it was a really, really great piece, especially since you were originally on a different story, and then we just got this breaking news, and you were so like, I'm on it. So thank you. And also, Maddie, of course, your weather, that VO was really cool too, but I feel like you're always like really good at weather. Obviously, Christina's not here, but I'll just say quick.
Where is Christina?
I think that she's doing working on a sports story for Wednesday. I think she had another interview.
I think she said, yeah.
I think she had
Briefly,
scheduled an interview about the softball story
Mm-hmm.
that she is getting today for Wednesday.
Okay.
Which will be great. So originally, Christina was supposed to do that softball bathroom story. That fell through, which meant that we didn't have like a sports package in the sports block, which is why we ended up doing that trash man or garbage collector story, which I thought still looked really good. Obviously, stories fall through. It happens. I would say the only thing about that I'm going to say is just if we could know sooner, that would probably be helpful, so we could have tried to do another sports story. By the time we found out, there was probably only like 45 minutes left before she had to pre-record. So we ended up having to do a lot of readers, which wasn't ideal, but Christina is really animated and looks great on camera. So I wasn't that mad about it, but I'm sure Professor Shaven might talk about it a little bit more.
Sure.
And then, that's like kind of it. Everyone, I thought, again, the stories were really cool today. Oh, Sarah, that stand-up with the double screen, I think it came out really, really cool. So, and everybody. And obviously we were late getting like most of our stories in today. That could be partially my fault since it took so long for like me and everyone else up here to decide what everyone was doing. But other than really Christina, I don't think any stories actually fell through today. Am I wrong? No, I think that's it.
Well, we had to move Danny. You know, she was going to do that story about the safe word.
Mm-hmm.
And then the person who started, wasn't available, and so we moved her to the
but I still think we're going going to try and do that safe word story just because I really like it. So, and I think it's like a good story, not just because I like it. But anyway, yeah, I think that's it. Great show. And thanks to the crew again for doing such a great job today and working with us and all of our craziness. The end.
Thank you, Sydney. Okay, so Veronica, you anchored and you were the digital producer.
Yeah.
Did you have any other role?
I helped Christina with graphics. I don't know if that's really a road. I did what?
Oh, that's right. You helped the sports graphics. Yeah.
I was just a superhero today, maybe.
You were the superhero.
So
that's right.
You know.
Okay.
Okay, so starting with digital. First of all, thank you. I know we had a very small newsroom today, but I did appreciate everyone who sent Maddie stuff and was texting me about stuff, Sarah. So I think overall we did pretty good on social today. I was talking to Dr. Bright. I think a new challenge would just be how do we put content out with such a smaller newsroom and kind of getting creative with that. It is a challenge, so we can try and figure that out. Hopefully we won't have a smaller newsroom later, so this should be fine. The only platform we didn't really get to post on was like an actual Instagram post. We did put Sarah's stand-up on our story. That was doing well from when I last checked on it. But I know our stories also weren't as visually pleasing to post on Instagram, so I'm picky with that. Like, I want it to be something that people are actually like interested in looking at. And other than that, we were able to post something out on each platform. And I know Dr. Bright just dropped something in our group me about the story that went into the broadcast, and she was asking if it went on social. And I think we tweeted that out this morning, but was there an update?
No, the question is the arrest. Has the arrest gotten out? Because I didn't realize we had an arrest until I was reading the package, yes.
So originally in the press release that came out this morning, there hadn't been a suspect, but I think Jeff said that someone was in custody.
No, we know that. It's in the package, but if we
It's in the package.
put that out,
And
would
we
you
got
do
his
that?
mugshot too.
Yeah, would you get that out with a picture?
Okay, so yeah, only, again, the whole disconnect between social and the newsroom, just if we could have known that, so we could also tweet that out. I'm not sure how soon you guys found that out.
Imagine you and Donovan were together. When did you find out there was an arrest? It happened like at 11:59, right?
Right, yeah. We
Okay.
confirmed the arrest when I spoke with Jeff this morning. We just
Okay.
didn't get a photo till later on.
When did you get the photo?
Maybe at like 3:15.
Okay, so I think once we knew there was an arrest, we needed to get that information out because that was new. And then once we got the photo, we could have gotten that out as yet another new element.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
We don't have to wait till 5 is the whole point, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
So just that slight disconnect, but I know, again, we were all kind of like running around, doing multiple things, so.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but
All
other
right,
than
we'll get
that,
it out
I
now.
think that was the only like minor thing. But other than
Okay.
that, we did good, so good job, guys.
Yeah. So we don't know unless you tell us is the point, right? I only knew it when I read it. Remember we were going over your package, Majesty, and I said, oh, what time was he arrested? 11:59. You know, so, and I didn't know when you got the picture, so. Okay, so, so did we have an AP? I'm trying to remember. You did assignment desk. You were AP, but you went out and helped Majesty and you did a live shot. So, you know, we have a small class, right? And then, you know, we had 2 people who weren't here today. So we're down from 12 to 10. I think with 10 people we did, you know, pretty well. I mean, I think we had really good stories to start the day. So we had good content, but we just struggled with, you know, Christina's story, which, you know, that took up some time to figure out what to put in the sports segment, in addition to the readers. And then I think the story that Kristen left us needed a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of work. And then I thought that piece from another angle was really good about the guy the sanitation worker. I thought he was just a great interview. I mean, that's the kind of person you want to do a profile. So how many people have not done a profile piece yet? Raise your hands. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You guys have done them. Okay, so what's your timetable? Because we're running out of time. Anybody?
I have an interview Thursday.
Okay.
I have an interview Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you'll have that piece for what day? Monday?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
That's the goal.
All right. Anybody else got anything in development?
I have interviews this weekend, so hopefully
Okay.
they don't fall through, and I'll have it for
Great.
Monday.
Okay, Luke?
I've talked to someone about doing one. I'm
Okay.
still just like not satisfied with the person. I want to do a really good profile piece, but you know.
Okay. Well,
I
don't
keep-
wait.
yeah.
You know, we could have used these pieces obviously today. Sarah?
I'm waiting to hear back from my subject, but I'm hoping I asked to talk to him on Thursday.
Okay.
So we're.
All right. Luke? Wyatt? Sorry.
I have an interview set up for early next week,
Okay.
and I need like a supporting interview that I'm hoping I
Okay.
can get done this week.
So you want these to be textured pieces that really tell us this person's passion, what they're about, how it started, right? A good B-roll. I think that, so just to the newscast, back to the newscast, I thought Majesty, I thought you had a really good live shot. I thought picking up the tape, I mean, it was no longer an active scene, so you weren't tampering with evidence. I think picking up that tape was good, the crime scene tape, and then I think getting that into the front end of the package was good. It was the B-roll we had that told the story. I mean, we worked together to take some of those facts that were in the lead-in and put them into the package to make the package feel a little bit more robust, right? Like, the names and, some other details about it. So that's what you want to, look to do. But I thought your live shot was really good. I thought you did a really nice job, and it was a good lead for the show. And I guess at some point maybe we'll find out what was going on there. I don't think we know, right? Okay. So, and then I thought the Uber safety, I thought was just really well shot. I mean, I thought it was crisp and clean, and just the guy rolling down his window and talking to us, and he was a character. He was like, could be a profile piece. He was just so colorful. He was just really good, and you were like, wow, I'd like him to be my Uber driver, right? He's like, you people aren't safe enough. You don't do enough to check. And, someone asked in the control room, oh, we showed a license plate. Well, it's his license plate. He's willingly talking to us.
I asked him before I took that shot.
He's not accused of any crime. One interesting thing that happened, and this is just about communication, is so when Sarah put her package together, I thought, well, let me go ahead and look at it. I wanted to see, frankly, how the stand-up looked where we were following the car along. And, what she had was just herself in the car, and then next shot was the car on the app. But what we had talked about was having them produced side by side, which is how it aired. So we just got to make sure we communicate all the way through what the vision is, because I think what you would have found had I not taken a second to look at it was you would have been like, oh, we meant to put them together, just what we talked about. And then, you did. We had time, and it really did look good once I could see it really on a big screen, right? Yeah, I thought that was, I don't know, was that your idea? I don't know whose idea it was, but I thought it was...
team effort.
It was a team effort, and I thought it looked really good, and it made the point. And then I thought, Luke, as you did the tag and you held up your phone, you didn't lose eye contact too long with us. You kind of showed your phone and you played with it for a minute, and then you were back looking at the audience, so I thought was good. By the way, I thought you and Veronica both had really good energy on the set today. I thought you really sold that lead story.
Yeah.
We just had a little
mic thing. I don't know.
Just a little noise. I don't know what it was. I mean, it wasn't the end of the world, but I thought your energy level was really good, and that's what you want to bring on Wednesday, right?
Well,
are you doing it
now.
Wednesday?
It'll be Danny.
Okay.
So.
All right. Well,
You'll
we'll see
see
if
me
she can
again
match
in like
your
2
effort.
weeks.
Okay. But I thought the anchors did a really nice job. Maddie, you did a really nice job on weather. So, yeah, I just thought all of your shooting was really good on Uber. I mean, it was just like you guys should look at that piece. Okay, so
Wait,
Watkinsville
can I ask,
Speeders.
Sarah, did you use your own camera, or was that Grady Newsource's camera?
Part of it was the Newsource camera, and then when I used my phone for a lot of it because it was hard. I mean, I can't do the camera in the car, so a lot of it was my phone on like the little contraption or whatever that they showed us in the beginning. I think
one thing that was nice is that, and I don't know if you meant to do this, but you were a little off center. Maybe that was just because it was like a selfie, but that gave us the room on the side to put
I scooted it like
okay.
I
Okay.
edited.
Okay, good. Way. Well, it was a good job, and you know what? We've talked enough about you, frankly. I'm just teasing.
Maybe would like that for his selfie thing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Professor Hasinski was here last week. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay, Watkinsville Speeders. Danny had to leave early, but I thought she did a pretty good job. The video seemed a little blurry to me in the beginning, but I think it may be because she had the stop sign or whatever it was in focus, but the car in the distance was coming into focus. Not sure, but I've got to look back at that and check that out. There was a jump cut. You edited her piece, right?
I did.
You edited it.
Yes.
Did you see the jump cut?
I did, like when it was on air, but I had to like leave it to Wyatt because I had to go down to Anchor, so I didn't finish it. But
okay.
I didn't get to watch it back.
It was a real team effort, and when I was letting it roll through before I exported, And I saw the jump cut, but then it was like 4:49 or whatever.
Okay.
I was like, it's not that bad. So
Well, it was bad. Anyway, so but I appreciate the team effort to get that done because she had to leave. And I thought she did a pretty good stand-up, you know, talking about the speeders. So first weather, like I said, I thought you found the pollen video. Who found the pollen video?
Yeah, I actually found it on Twitter while I was looking for the tweets from the UGA football players about something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, I thought it was good.
I thought it was excellent.
And then
yeah.
I had to get permission from Georgia Department of Natural Resources.
Mm-hmm. So when you were who was counting her down? Were you counting her down? Who was counting down Maddie?
Oh, Maddie, yeah, that was me.
So you're counting her down. I think that's got to be a little distracting, 3, 2, 1. I think it's better to just give her like a 5-second cue. No?
I think.
Because you were adjusting your hair.
Yeah, well, I don't know where the disconnect was there because they cue me, you know, the production
Right.
staff cues me too, and she hadn't cued me yet either. I saw like 5 seconds when I was moving my hair. So
Okay.
when I was cued when I started speaking from both parties. So I don't know if the camera just came on me a little early or what, you know, but I wasn't cued yet
so.
before I was fixing my hair. I would have been touching my hair.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, anyway, I thought you did a nice job, and I
Thank you.
thought Donovan on the beer festival, I thought really you did a great job. You know, you were thinking on your feet, bringing those people in, interviewing them. It was a shame. I thought there would be crowds, throngs of beer drinking people behind you, but there weren't. But you got those 2 people in, and I think whoever was behind the camera sort of got them to come in a little bit. The guy was a little bit out of frame, and he came in, and I thought that was, you know, a nice little something. And someone had that clever line about Grady Newsource. I don't know who that was.
Savannah.
Savannah, that was
She'll
cute.
be so upset if we don't give her credit for
Yeah,
that.
good job, Savannah. That was nice. So I liked that. I'm glad we were able to do that. And you were multitasking. You were out. You were supposed to be APing. You were out with Majesty, out on a crime story. I didn't want her going by herself, you know. And then you came and did the Brewfest. So thank you for all of that. So on the child abuse tease, you know, we had a little conversation about that. You know, certain stories, they're important, but they don't exactly tease well, but they're important. So you do those stories like Child Abuse Prevention Week or Awareness Week. We saw both. So then I think the challenge, if you're a producer, is to find a way to tease it, you know, to keep viewers watching without turning them off. You know, if you had a murder story, you know, that would be a tough one too. So you're trying to create a little bit of mystery and a little bit of, you're not, you know, trying to hide what you're doing, but, you know, you're trying to just to intrigue them enough to come and stay in the newscast. And then the package, Luke, I thought was pretty good. Everybody loved your stand-up with the pinwheels. I thought that was really good. We need a little bit of like a, you know, wind buffer or something on the mic because of the.
I just didn't have time to fix
Right.
it.
But on the other hand, we had the pinwheel spinning. Yeah. Yeah. But I thought that was, you know, you did a good job. The interview was, you know, pretty far off center. Do you want a mic? It seemed to me it was a little too far off center.
The
What did you
woman?
think? Yeah.
She just kept bouncing back and forth a lot.
Oh, so it's her fault, not yours?
I mean, sure. I mean, she just kept like, she
I'm
would like
just
lean
kidding.
one way and like
Uh-huh.
half a step and then like half
Uh-huh.
a step back the other way.
Yeah.
She was just like she was moving a lot when we were interviewing. And so I was just really just trying to make sure she was in the frame. Cause I don't,
Okay.
I mean, I guess I could have like gestured to her, but I don't know how to like.
Which gesture would you have used? Move over? Okay. Anyway, I thought, you know, I just thought if she'd been a little more toward the middle of the frame, I liked that the pinwheels were in the shot.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, but that's the difficulty of, you know, I guess being a one-man band, except you're behind the camera at this point, right?
Yeah.
So, anyway, that was my only complaint. I don't know if you felt that way yourself.
No, I mean, I did notice it. I mean, I noticed how much she was moving when I was doing the interview, and so I
Uh-huh.
kept like looking at the camera to make sure she was in the frame.
Uh-huh.
But I also didn't really realize like how far to the side she was, I guess.
All right. So, you know, we talked a little bit about sports. We didn't have a package there today. You know, I think about everybody in here has had an experience where they just had a difficult day and turning something. but hopefully she's out today now getting that together. So we'll have that for Wednesday. I thought she delivered sports really well. You know,
Yeah.
she had really good energy. I think, but you know, I don't give anyone a pass really. I mean, you still gotta, you know, we still have to fill this show, and you'll find in your markets if you go out and work in local news, you know, you'll keep being moved and moved and moved until you can turn. We just have this, you know, deadline here where sports has to tape at 1 o'clock, and so we're under that pressure. So anyway. So I think, Maddie, you were saying, Sydney, that on First Weather, you mentioned I'm going to talk about the possibility of snow, but then you didn't talk about snow in the 1 minute, in the longer weather.
Yeah, so it ended up working out perfectly. The 1 minute weather. So basically in the 2 and 3 minute weathers, Maddie had said previously in the newscast I talked about snow because originally in her live shot she was going to talk about snow. In the 1 minute she didn't say that. So that's the one we used, which ended up being perfect because that was what fit best with our broadcast anyway. So
We just filmed at noon, so I talked about possible chances of snow, and I was like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, but then it came time, and I was like, I changed my First Weather to pollen because we couldn't confirm the snow other than the one news station. So yeah, I was like, I hate to do it, but we kind of have to use the 1 minute unless we want to look silly.
Okay. All right. So I think y'all came in with some pretty good ideas today, right? And I would just say that, you know, there's this temptation. I know we're getting to the end of the semester. We've got 4 weeks left, right? About
8 classes.
8 classes? Is today one of them?
And this would make it 9.
Okay, so we have 8 more classes. So, you know, I would ask you to resist the temptation to not come because you haven't taken out, because it's a long, you know, it's a 9-hour class, and hopefully you're getting something out of it, and you're helping your colleagues, you know, out, you know, to show up. And so, and I get it, if people are sick, they're sick, you know, but, you know, I think of it as like we're small, but we're mighty, you know, and, you know, small in numbers, but we're mighty, and you guys have had a lot put on you today this semester with turning packages every time you're anchoring, and you know, I appreciate all of your hard work, and hopefully you're, you know, learning from everything. You're getting something out of all this as we go along. You know, I want to be careful about legal terms, homicide versus murder versus manslaughter. For those of you who have got reporter jobs, or a couple of you do already, you know, make sure you understand the differences in those terms so that you're not making the mistakes, you know, when you get to your markets. And I would say, you know, like, you know, Sarah and Sydney, you know, who have jobs already, you know, you guys want to just keep turning packages in this class because you just want to get your skills up and get better and better before you start your jobs. This is a great place to make mistakes and learn, and that's what I would encourage you. So if you're down for other roles, I would say really you want to be MMJs in some form. I think that's the best thing for you. And then, you know, Maddie and Wyatt want to produce, and so who else wants to produce? Brittany. And so for those who want to produce, they really need to be in the producing pit because we got a little bit of time left for that. So anyway, if there's anything you want to do or you want to switch, talk to your, you know, your colleagues about it. What do we have, about 50 seconds left? Any complaints? Any, you know, anyone got anything? Okay.
I'd like to switch.
You'd like to switch? Okay. I thought, by the way, the show was really good, you know, really well, really clean today, and it would be a nice one for somebody who wanted to be a producer to have for their reel. I thought it was good. I thought we had a good mix, solid stories. Thought your lead was good and your Uber story was good, and so weather was good, and Donovan Harris was surprisingly good. So I think we can be pleased with today. So anyway, good anchoring too. All right, so
Cool.
take us out.
Sure. And with that, we've got a little over 10 seconds left. So thank you so much for watching. We will be back on Wednesday with another episode of Grady Newsource. Have a good night.
Yay. So